Hey guys, it's Mr. Lee, and I'm just going to try to make a video on constructing a box plot by hand, especially if you have, outliers. So I created a couple lists of data, and these were lists from one of the homework problems that had to do with hot dogs, and there's three different type of hot dogs. There's beef, meat hot dogs, and poultry hot dogs. And specifically, it was they wanted to compare the calorie content of the different types of hot dogs, and they also wanted to compare the sodium content. So you end up creating six lists, comparing three box plots for calories, comparing three box plots for sodium. But instead of doing all six of those lists, just to make this video a little bit shorter and easier, I've already entered the data for two lists, and these two lists represent the calories L1. So if I go to stat edit, my L1 represents the calorie content of meat hot dogs, and then my L2 represents the calorie content of poultry hot dogs. Now, one super cool thing that I did not know that one of our students discovered and shared with us in class today was that you can actually sort these lists. So I actually sorted these so in ascending order, so from least to greatest. It's really easy to sort them. What you do is you go to stat, and instead of editing your list, you're going to sort your list. A stands for ascending, or I call it ascending. I really like to emphasize the A. And then D stands for descending, so from greatest to least. Okay, so typically, like you would use this if you're trying to find the median by hand or create the box plot by hand. It really helps just to have the data sorted in ascending order. Okay, so if you just press enter, so edit, so number 2, sort A, and then just put inside there the argument, put which list you want to sort. So I'm going to sort my list 1. So to get to list 1, I press second, then number 1, because the blue, the second function for number 1 is L1. So I press that and notice that it's L1. And technically you could close a parentheses, but I'm a little lazy. I'm not going to close my parentheses. You don't have to. Press enter, and then it gives you this nice dialog that says that it's done. It actually sorted the list. So now when I go to stat edit, my list is sorted in ascending order. And I did that for L2 also. Okay. So how do I make a box plot by hand? Well, I actually have to go ahead and what I would do is I have 17 observations. So I'm going to do this the long way. Okay, first I'm going to do it the long way, then I'm going to show you how to do it on the calculator. But if I'm doing this by hand, okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down these 17 observations. Okay, I'm going to write down the 17 observations. So I have 107. Okay, so there is all 17 observations. Okay, and then I'm going to find the median of this observation. So your teachers, your math teachers in like middle school might have said, okay, if you want to find the median, just count, go by twos. I never learned it this way, but some students taught me this. So they go like this, boom, 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 boom. And there's your middle observation. Okay, so that's your median. Okay, and so the median breaks the data up into a lower half and an upper half. And how do I find the median? I don't count like by twos or whatever. I just know that if I have 17 observations, then I know that I'm going to have 8 observations here and 8 observations here. So my middle observation is going to be my ninth observation, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, my ninth observation. Okay. So now here in my lower half of my data, okay, I have 8 observations. So I'm going to go ahead and find the middle or the median of these 8 observations. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's between 138 and 139. Okay, so my Q1 is equal to 138.5. Same thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, my Q3 is equal to what? 179 plus 182. So 179 plus 182 divided by 2. So 180.5. Okay. And then here's my min. Here's my max. So there's my 5-number summary. My min, my max, Q1, Q3, and my median. Okay, so how do I draw a box plot? I simply draw a number line. Okay, my values have to go from 100 to roughly 200. And most of the data is around 30s, 50s, 70s. So I'm going to go by tens. Okay, and so these units represent tens. So 110, 120, 130, 140, 160, 170, 180, 190. Okay, and then I simply plot my Q1, my Q3, and my median. That makes my box. So my Q1 was at 138.5, which is roughly, I don't know, roughly there. Okay, my median is at 153, so 1.5, that'd be 155, so about there. And then my Q3 is at 180.5, so just a little bit higher than 180. Okay, then what I do, I just connect these boxes. Okay, and I make my box that represents, so that box is, that's Q3, that's Q1. So this is the middle 50% of the data. So that is all the data that is right there. Okay, and then how do I know if I have outliers? Okay, so my outliers, so remember that my upper fence is going to be over here somewhere. My upper fence is just equal to whatever Q3 is, whatever this value is, and I want to go further than Q3. By 1.5 times IQR. Okay, and so my IQR is Q3 minus Q1, so 180.5 minus 138.5. Okay, so 180.5 minus 138.5. Okay, so my IQR is 42 units, or 42 calories, right? So 42 times 1.5 is 63. So my upper fence is at Q3, which is 180.5 plus 63, which is 243.5 calories. Okay, so there's 200, so there's 210, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so there's 240. So my upper fence, there's 250, is less than half. So my upper fence is right there. Okay, my lower fence, I'm just going to go to the left of this end, and that end is Q1. So it's going to be Q1 minus, because I'm going to the left, 1.5 times IQI. So it's going to be 138.5 minus 63. 138.5 minus 63. So that is equal to 75.5. Okay. So that lower fence is actually off my graph here. Okay, so I'm not going to draw it, but it would be way over here at 75.5. I would draw the same kind of dashed line, and I'd say LF equals 75.5. So any data values, any actual observations that I have that's less than 75.5 is a low outlier. And my lowest is 107. Any observations that I have that are greater than my upper fence, 243.5, would be a high outlier. My max value is at 195. Okay, but let's say that was wrong. Let's say my max value is actually 250. How do I draw an outlier? So I draw an outlier by drawing an asterisk. So that asterisk represents my high outlier at 250. So now to complete this box plot, I just need to draw my upper whisker and my lower whisker, my two whiskers. So my whiskers they go to the highest value that's not an outlier. So it goes to 191. And then my low whisker goes to my lowest value that's not an outlier. So it goes all the way down to 107. And that's how you draw your box plot.